fast in terms of both squads overall. Coalesce certainly have the much more impressive record, a number of one-sided affairs on this map up. They beat Jezzy's Rush Blue, it's 16-2 for instance. They beat the Princess 16-9 for instance. They've done some incredible things on this map up, beat 7th Course 16-7, so very one-sided at times for the Coalesce side. And I guess you could argue a similar story for the eMasters, but they were pushed the distance against Shush, they were pushed the distance against the Gate. So again, considering this map up as a consistent form, as the anchor point in this final map of the series, we're talking about one where Coalesce again sort of have been coming into this matchup on the stronger form on this map.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, just looking at the individual performances of some of these players from the previous maps that we've seen in this series, Husky has been playing really, really well so far. Overpass, going back to the days of his previous teams, looking at Audacity and back in those days, this is always a map that's been really strong for him individually. And then, of course, there's the Orpa's kind of paradise around the A site that's looking quite good. It's been a shame to see a couple of names not showing up quite as much as perhaps I'd wanted them to, namely Azuwu. But this is definitely a great opportunity for him to kind of revive himself and show what he's really made of, because he is, namely the star player.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's been one of the consistent points for Coalesce, right? He wasn't shut down on that last map up over on Ancient. He wasn't allowed to really get going by the eMasters. They put all the effort into trying to ensure that he wasn't going to be allowed any breathing room, and the end result, of course, was that that map fell apart for the Coalesce side. So for eMasters, it's kind of the main game plan, trying to shut him down, trying to, just trying to make sure that you can't get started in this kind of map up, because that could really be the difference maker. And at this point in the matchup, in this point in the series, all those tiny little margins are going to make all the difference in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, because it's the third and final map, we are going to be looking in towards this knife round to determine the sides and see how each team wants to set up in their initial standings.
Yep.
I think one little game that I love to play in these knife rounds, you might be familiar with it, is a little bit of like Knife Watch. Are you familiar with it?
What's Knife Watch?
We literally just look through their knives and give them ratings out of 10 and stuff like that.
I mean, yeah, we could do that. I mean, for me personally, I'm sort of thinking about the actual value in the knife round itself right now, because typically we'd be like, well, you want to pick the CT start, and Overpass, obviously one of those maps that is known to be in the pantheon of CT-sided maps traditionally, and certainly in the current meta feels that to be the case as well. But in this series, we've seen a whole lot of T-side basis. We saw a great T-side from eMasters over on Ancient. We saw a great T-side from Coalesce over on Vertigo. So my big talking point about this knife round is how important is CT-side going to be here on Overpass?
Yeah, absolutely. When you're talking about those Overpass defaults, it is really important to take that connect control and make sure you're working your way methodically, taking B short, and then once you've got those kind of 2 points of contact, you can work your way up bathrooms and see where you really want to go with things. But I think both of these teams will have interesting strategies coming forward. But here we go, we're going to hop in towards the knife round, see how things stack out and see which side these two teams are going to be playing on. Jay, who do you think is going to take the knife round? Let's call it now.
I mean, that's kind of a bit of a coin toss, isn't it? I can't really call it.
That's why I'm asking you now.
I'm gonna go eMasters. I think they're gonna take the knife round.
Yeah. You reckon they stay on CT side, go for the traditional advantage?
I mean, I guess so. I guess there's no reason not to at this point. I guess we'll find out. I mean, we'll have to have a look and see. Of course, just I think a little bit of confusion right now in server. I don't know exactly what's going on. I don't think they realised the knife has actually gone live here. So yeah, they'll have to redo that very quickly, and then we'll jump right back in to see how the knife round is going to go.
No, they're all pacifists. They don't want to knife each other. They're like, nah, boys, we'll just delay the game out forever.
Pacifism in CSGO. Imagine that. Trying to go a whole game while winning without getting a single kill. That's like some Sam Fisher kind of stuff. Like the Splinter Cell, trying to go around with just Zeus's to make sure that nobody actually dies officially, because it doesn't really technically. You get a point. Coalesce looking like they're going to take the knife round here. So my prediction was wrong. They get the choice of side starts. Again, I have to consider, do they want to try their hand at a T-side advantage again? I mean, it's happened once already for them.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I wouldn't fault them for going for it. It's, of course, maybe a bit off meta, but anything's possible in this kind of a matchup. eMasters, they have been looking good on Overpass. Let's see how things fall out. And there you go. There is the switch. So we're going to go back towards the kind of meta setup, and I think it's definitely the safe play. Coalesce, just trying to look for that early advantage, make sure that they start on the right foot.
Indeed, the eMasters set in to their CT basis, and this will be interesting to catch off and wonder again how well this will go. This is truly a coin toss series now. In our final map of the best of 3, eMasters versus Coalesce as our final game or final map of this best of 3 series in the semi-finals, the second of the semi-finals at this stage. Let's have a look, see how well it's going to go with Coalesce and eMasters going live into the pistol round right now here. USPs being brought out, Glocks are being held also in the standard. eMasters set on the defensive and onto the offensive, I should say, and out to the monster control.
Yeah, absolutely. eMasters gearing up for this B take. Train going to be a little bit of a problem. Perhaps delaying the push here, and there you go. That's the trigger point. Train's gone, noise cue's gone, and there's the strong push. We have no audio, so we have no idea what's going on, but there's the compounding from Azuwu. The dualies coming in, but instantly traded through the smoke. Moshi doubling up, in fact, as well, and this is an awkward 3 versus 3. There's a player in Monster behind them. I don't know if eMasters are even aware of this. Kristen makes his presence known, and there you go. Can't even get the bomb down, although that does buy a little brief of respite. There's the digits plugged in, and can Coalesce come back into this one?
A shot, Leaf boosted up to try and use the HP advantage over the T sideline. He's got no Kevlar, so aim punch might become a problem. He's looking around as Shine goes down. Low HP already, so it's not going to be that much of an issue for Emmy to get that pick in the first place, so Leaf has it all to do. No kit, no Kevlar, no utility. He sits back and waits and starts to move in a little bit closer. Take the fight, gets Hoy, but does not get Emmy, who closes with the double and the pistol for the eMasters.
Yeah, not a lot doing there for Coalesce. It started off really chaotically. Moshi just pushing through the smoke, getting those initial 2 kills. Really did crack the site open. Kristen stayed alive for so long behind them over towards Pillar. And, well, yeah, it's just a weird way for it to fall out. Double scout setup. This is interesting from Coalesce. You don't often see this, but it can work out quite well if you can get those early kind of tags and then fall back to the sites and perhaps wait for the execute to come through before locking in those kills. But we'll have to wait to see how eMasters want to approach this one. Of course, not aware that the force has come through just yet.
Scouts just being the main highlight weapons right now for Coalesce. The 5.7s, the SMG also inbound, so not really much in terms of the grand scale of the force buy. Of course, it's still going to be an attempt for Coalesce to try and bring something back against the eMasters here. Hoping they can catch one player off, try and get a bit of expense on the board if they can in the right position, get the rifle out. But really, Coalesce push on an early back foot, and we've seen how early these starts can get out of control in this series. So for eMasters, there's nothing but positivity, assuming they can follow suit and do not deny the break.
Yeah, limited amount of utility for this execute coming forward, but if they use their smokes right, they can definitely cut down these long sight lines, even eliminate the scouts. Another miss shot from Shine, uncharacteristic, a bit audacious with the peaks there. In fact, Dox is punished, but here you go, here's the push, Jay. Can they lock it in? It's an initial dink, but not much more than that, and the push from Azuwu won't really be consequential. Oh, I say that, that's the initial frag instantly traded, and Kristen gets another in return, but not too much productivity out of those scouts and the upgraded pistols.
So they get that rifle back in his hands right here towards the long control. AK standing, and he'll get it just about and escape with it.
Long arms.
Yeah. Kind of curious how long they can be in Counter-Strike. I mean, it's supposed to be a game of realism, in air quotes.
I think we can drop that facade at this point.
Husky will hunt down the man and get this shot in very quickly. So that should be the AK. Probably recovered here by the eMasters. No, actually, doesn't reach it in time. He's a little bit too far back, but that's fine. It's no rifle saved in for Coalesce. And a 2-0 for the eMasters now, who have no resistance in round 3.
Can you imagine the realism of stacking 4 people shoulder to shoulder? Just juggling that tower. Imagine the
and they say the army. They say the army put their tactics together in video games. Honestly,
we'll have to Google that army force stack later.
There probably is some like silly photo of like a bunch of soldiers just doing something like that just for the gigs of it.
Yeah. Just
for the funsies.
Can you imagine though being that guy on the bottom? The legs you need to have to hold that many people.
Soldiers are tough people, so you know.
It's tough to hold in like 4 other burly soldiers on your shoulders. So. You reckon?
Build their muscles.
Okay.
We're well off track at this point, so let's get back into the game. Eco round being ripped apart by eMasters, you would expect. Azuwu and Leaf on the back of the site. Mr. Hoy gets them both, all 5 alive for the eMasters side. The Mac 10 getting a couple of picks in as well for some bonus cash for Dexter. And now the bonus round can come in against Coalesce, who will be on the full rifle buy.
I don't know what you're on about off track. I'm all here for the banter. No one cares about CS. Oh, literally an agent of chaos for this game.
You are.
I tell you what, I'm just going to try and make like fluster you as much as I can with this matchup now.
I'm going to have to battle against you and not get flustered then, aren't I? I'm going to have to be real snarky with my comments and
yes,
quick thinking, which actually today is a bad idea. My brain is slow.
Yes.
So, eMasters sets up with their defaults in towards the mid control, especially for Mr. Hoy and Emmy. Smokes on, Molly sent towards the mid and the bathroom to control, and Shine's orb is posted to draw out first blood in this round. A lot of HP lost for the man, but he's got the start in the Coalesce.
Yeah, absolutely. Very committed in front of that Molotov. Really needed to hit that first shot, but so thankful that he does. That's a bit of a misstep from Leaf, and Mr. Hoy takes advantage, ripping over this A site. Docs can rotate in time, but for all intents and purposes, this site is lost.
Mr. Hoy can even get a little bit more out of this, smoking against him. Tap on from Docs, gets him in the Achilles heel, low HP, able to capitalize upon that. Husky was waiting for Kristen on the rotation, meanwhile, in from Connected Control, the shot connects, the bomb's on its way. Dexter's caught a frag with the AWP against the Zulu. Docs will find him at the gap on a smoke, back at Dumpster, but now needs 2 more to get in a 4K clutch. He's trying to hope that he can bait the eMasters into rotation, but that's not happened here. He's going back into the A play. 1v2 on this retake, though. It's very difficult.
Yeah, odds definitely not in Docs' favour, especially without a kit or smoke. You know, these are kind of essential systems in place for retaking this A site. We'll have to see if he can retrieve anything on his progress there. 2 kills in the round so far, a couple more to find. Does pick up a kit, so that does help things, but I still don't see it happening.
If he had that smoke, if that was a smoke he picked him on the flashbang, that would have been a bit more beneficial towards the man. But Moshi swings back with the headshot as soon as he sees or hears the tap. Waited and baited, forced the man to get complacent, and the end result is the 4-0 for eMasters. Coalesce now with a harsher eco inbound, about a half buy inbound for these guys, and the SMGs, in fact, will be able to come through on a couple of individuals, so there's that much for them. eMasters set with their weapons. The AWP, the AKs, now posted for the defaults.
Absolutely. Half by Coalesce, trying to get some cheekiness away. Maybe steal around, but it all starts with an initial frag, an initial pick. Good utility from eMasters to cordon off these positions, to just be wary of what Coalesce can we bring into this one. Still not going to be aware just how heavily forced into this one Coalesce are, and Mr. Hoy cleared out bathrooms. That might be a false friend. Mr. Hoy looks at his backline. Leaf catches out his counterpart and is able to retrieve that AK, falling back on towards the site. eMasters, how are you going to react to that information now?
Well, it's perfect timing in the world there for Leaf. eMasters react to it by just going slow and passive. They're going to be more careful in this one. Shine will be back in the bathrooms and take position for the time being, but will also fall back the same into the bomb site. 4-man stack elsewhere from Coalesce onto the B play, so a little bit of noise being made there by Moshi, but if they can just get the kill against Shine, then the A site will fall, and at that point it might just be eMasters taking all sorts of control. Second CC on his way back in, though. Leaf timed it so well again. A triple to be found against Husky. He's going to try a attempt for it. Does get Goosh back to 42 HP. The Molotov sent towards the direction as Dexter does get Shine in the end. So advantage still sits from Coalesce, but the bomb site is gained by the eMasters.
There was such a good opportunity there for Shine, but just gets eliminated, and now that makes things so much harder for Coalesce to come back into this. Kristen in the back line, if he gets some success here, that will be a helpful hand, but again, you know, locked off in towards Dumpster. This is a tough retake. Kristen has success, and that might be the spurring moment. That can be enough to just edge your way in. Of course, no kits just yet. Dexter standing tall. Husky initially traded, and look at this. Look at this. They're not going to line up. Jumping over the crosshairs, and Azuru locks it in. That will be a Coalesce round.
A little bit too antsy there from Dexter. The shadow bait definitely aided in that respect for the Coalesce side, as they get their first on the board. The eMasters have not allowed this, or not been allowed to let this streak grow out of control like it did over on that Ancient. End result is the opening start now for the CT side. Involved, engaged, and now ready to receive. The AK set in for the T side. Rebuy. Coalesce have 2 of them recover from the previous round. eMasters want to get right back on track here.
Absolutely. Name of the game is just taking down some players for Coalesce, and Shine very aggressive in towards Party. He's just going to get caught off guard. Emmy, oh, look at the timing. Shine's so fortunate to escape with that one. Leaf, though, in a precarious position. Look at this utility flying over. Leaf needs to escape. Will take some initial damage, but luckily escapes with life in the hand. And that was on a knife's edge for the entirety of that initial 40 seconds.
Back forward, Emmy connects on Shine, leaves one of the bathrooms, and Mr. Hoy just domes him. Docs now all alone here, back to the backside on Dumpster, leaning in against several. The spray is so awkward and it goes everywhere but onto Moshi. And it's a 2 versus 5 that Coalesce are going to have to save from here. This has fallen apart very quickly for the CTs.
Yeah, that spray from Docs. It's just how Ali G works it out, just dancing around those bullets, you know, avoiding every single one of them. But
you really are the arbiter of chaos. You are something else. Where's Dwayne when you need him?
Oh, well, welcome you on. I don't know if he's been knocked out of Inters just yet. I say yeah, because I'm expecting it. Yeah, that's kind of a bit harsh.
He's trying to avoid getting double grouped this time, so I guess we'll find out whether that ends up happening later. Of course, the main Binmen team made it into playoffs last night.
Of course,
and,
of course.
Got knocked out immediately.
Yeah,
Lower bracket seed facing K10. They got dumpstered.
Still waiting for the day when you join the ranks of the Binmen.
I have. I won the pub quiz with the Binmen last night.
Ah, that doesn't count.
It does count. I'm the only Binmen champion.
Okay,
so.
Okay. The Binmen's only claim to fame for victory.
Not the only claim to fame, but the
okay.
only title they have in their trophy cabinet is me.
Yes, good
on
correction.
the Binmen with Penguin and several others who also didn't actually stick around for the for the end of the pub quiz. So,
yeah, for those of you at home, if you want to get involved with the pub quiz and join the Binmen, see famous people like the Eternal J.
I mean, just get involved with the pub quiz on the next LAN, right? We raise it for Game Blast
Yeah.
and a special effect, so
Yeah.
it's always fun. It's a lovely time. We donated our prize winnings from the pub quiz to special effect.
Oh, lovely.
So,
yeah.
Good stuff.
Okay, well there you go. Make sure you guys at home get involved with the next Epic LAN. But from now, we're going to be hopping into round 7. Coalesce with only one round on the CT side so far. We talked about T-side supremacy for the last 2 maps. It's going to continue that trend. And look at this. eMasters aggressive up towards B. I don't know if Coalesce are going to be prepared for this.
Mr. Hoy, been so great finding these entries against Docs. He will land the first. Kristen got one more, but Mr. Hoy and Moshi combine for simultaneous kills, and a 4-on-2 is found. Coalesce have fallen down again. How just deadly this guy is. And Mr. Hoy has always been known to be a potentially deadly player throughout the course of his career. I remember casting some of his early teams as well, and well, he's just not changed. He's just still a monster. And is this the case that he didn't go in from Monster, but he went out from short, assisted by Monster, and became the monster himself. Leaf's going to finally execute the monster, though.
A lot of monsters.
A lot of monsters, yes.
They're coming out of the closet, Monsters Inc.
That's a film I haven't seen in a very long time either, but
it's a classic.
eMasters, regardless, have wrecked Coalesce, forced them to save a 6th round of the T-side board, and you're right, the T-side trends will continue in this series.
Absolutely. Loving to see those entries and even the change of pace. Nice calling from eMasters so far. Coalesce, going to need to see some sort of an adjustment, maybe throwing Shine down towards that lower monster peak can bring about some success, but right now it is a hot start for eMasters. What's the recipe for success? What can you cook up in the kitchen for Coalesce?
It's not a bad question, one that they might be asking themselves. Again, going to think about the potential of if this scoreline gets too far out of the realm of likelihood. If this scoreline grows to such a ridiculous extent, then suddenly I'll be looking at potentially a one map already. Nade Stack sent to the boost spot, nothing going to get game for it. Coalesce did not have anybody there. They had a Zoo instead, pushed in towards the short control. Headed the smoke down towards the com pipe, or the short pipe rather. Frag not found out towards connector either. Just default set in against the suppressed positions of the T side, although there is a player challenging in com right now. Husky versus Leaf. Flash in, Leaf the peak, utility in hand, and Husky's down.
Really unconventional kind of a setup here from Coalesce, but they make it work. Utility prompting them in towards these kills, but look at this A play. eMasters instantly reacting off the information that they've gotten. Just as Coalesce are taking stock of the situation, eMasters might take down Shine, and that's going to be the A site fallen. Moshi can even sell the fake here in this kind of a situation. Oh, this is so precarious. Moshi gets nothing done, but look at this. Shine has fallen, and there you go. A site will crumble just as soon. Leaf going to try and replicate the success of Docs, but nothing much done. No bullets connecting, and there you go. eMasters open A site.
They're going to extend out ahead of this smoke gap, but Leaf's going to catch him as he recognised those traces where the man was bound from. kill found. Mr. Hoy's going to try similar aggression though. 2 players to catch. Damage being done by the AWP's leg. Dexter didn't catch 1. They get caught up on each other, and Mr. Hoy gets 2. Dexter's down. It's a 1-on-1! And Kristen just brings it home for the CT side. Second on the board of Coalesce. But damn, eMasters putting in the effort. The fights continue. And that could have easily been their round if Dexter had stayed a little bit more passive, or maybe if he held himself together and played back to the AWP's position, or if that one headshot came through from Mr. Hoy. All the what-ifs in that kind of a round for Coalesce, however. The reality is they're second. Yeah,
you might see a bead of sweat rolling down the coach of Coalesce's and their players even, because that was such a sigh of relief to even secure their second round. But they do lose so many players. Their economy is going to be continually tested in this kind of situation. And this is another one of those swing rounds, perhaps, because eMasters, they're not exactly sitting too pretty themselves. You know, they have taken quite a few players for each of these rounds, and Shine again on an island going towards A, gets the initial frag, yeah, instantly traded. And what do you do from here?
Mr. Hoy is just still so deadly in this bathroom position, especially Husky catching Leaf off as Zulu forced to trade it back to a 3-on-3. Connector has fallen, but so is the A side, or has it? Dogs just repositioned back up towards the back of truck. Mr. Hoy checking all the angles. He does engage one, but run out of ammo without getting the kill on Moshi. Oh dear, it's not looking good for Coalesce once again. Azulu and Prison, last 2 players remaining. Azulu trying his best to engage someone out of the eMasters side. 2 players round the corner. Moshi ready for the headshot, brings it home. Kristen alone, the 1-on-3.
Absolutely. Kristen had the clutch in the previous round, but that was just a 1 versus 1. A 1 versus 3 definitely seems like it's not as on the cards, but this is interesting positioning from eMasters. Full CT control, and the bomb's not exactly planted for them either. I don't know if Kristen is going to be able to deduce this. Time's ticking down. Nice initial shot, and well, not enough time to work with. Barely just escaping. Dexter ringing off a warning shot in the distance, but there you go. eMasters secure a 7th round, and it's fairly dominant as well.
Yeah, Incendiary was on Kristen. In theory, we could have put it down in the dumpster and then focused entirely on Bank, get out towards the truck position, but as you mentioned, just took way too long to go through his options. Cut down by the timer. And eMasters with 7 on the board, a 5-round lead above Coalesce at this stage. M4s turning alongside that saved AK, the pistols in from Dox and Azulu. Kind of a half investment here for Coalesce because the money's still good enough to get a buyback in the next round, and the nade stack works this time. Takes down Leaf, significantly tags down Dox. That's a hell of a start for eMasters.
Yeah, really nice play from eMasters. They've gone for that nade stack time and time again. Coalesce perhaps playing against their own favour, giving eMasters the read that they wanted. And now look at this slow crawl. eMasters have a man advantage. They can just fully walk up to the A site as long as they're checking their angles, as long as they're pushing together as a team, and they might just go unnoticed until they reach the site. But look at this rotation from Coalesce. They've read into it themselves. I don't think he was spotted there. Shine. That's so unlucky. Ships passing in the night again. He's unspotted. I don't know how this has transpired in this fashion, but eMasters, in any case, execute onto the A site.
2 players still to defend against it. Shine's backstab could be vital to them. Kristen's got to hold alongside the Zulu's fight. 7 kill battle against Dexter. Double up, not quite secured. Kristen holds the line. A 3-on-2. Looks for a bit more. Moshi gets the return frag, and now the bomb can look to get planted, but they're wary of Shine creeping in from this back line. Moshi on 30 HP, Dox on 29. The smokes come down. Now they back away a little bit. Try hunt for the man. Shine in with the kill. Now Mr. Hoy with it all to do. The star man at the moment seen by the quick peek in from the bathrooms. Now Dox can start to make his moves up. Shine backs off. Bomb being defended. Flash perfect. Going to keep him blind, but Dox not looking to act. Shine engaged upon. The spray is good. 1v1. Incendiary trying to force Hoy forward, and Dox hits the head shot. Those clutch situations damn close with Mr. Hoy, but still not being capitalized upon. It's a 3rd round for Coalesce.
Yeah, absolutely costly round again. Coalesce, they're starting to scrape back into things, but just as it was on Ancient, for them to get back into things, it's down to these 1 versus X situations, and it's just so hard to get consistent success when you're going down so many times. You constantly have to worry about the economic situation, and eMasters, they're looking to shut things in the door, but their economy is not actually sitting that healthy themselves. Of course, these rounds being costly for them, so Coalesce definitely have an opportunity to come back into things here.
4 guns set in for both sides once again. The aggression out towards Monster. It's not for Husky and Moshi. Damage being done to Husky in particular. The CT backs up, flashed away from Blind Spray. Gets 2 kills between Azura and Kristen. Player out towards Sean, not looking to add. Damage being done. The return, but Mr. Hoy is waiting for them to make their move. He looks to the backside. Does not see the player over towards Jungle and doesn't look the right way at the right time. Docs catches him off. The bomb's been dropped. The CTs are in full control. Dexter and Emmy locked out of this round, surely.
Can't survive in the jungle if you don't have those life skills. It seems as though Dexter and Emmy, they're not going to be long for this world. The monsters are lurking in the closet. They're just around the corner, waiting, flying, just prepared for that situation. But Docs gets caught off guard. Shine, good to answer frag. And Emmy, we've seen him get 4 kills against Coalesce, but that was a complete other map. It's a complete different situation. Don't fancy his chances for this one. It all starts with this initial frag, and it's not going to convert. Coalesce do secure their 4th, and they finally keep some players alive.
All right. This game looking a little bit closer than the maps we've seen so far, especially in the last one, but even considering the similarities towards Ancient eMasters were, again, ahead to the 7 rounds, and Coalesce started to bring the comeback here. The question is, will they similarly concede that 9-6 half to eMasters? A pause is taken. I imagine it must be by the T-side half here to think about their position in the buy-up. Obviously, it's not going to be any major investment, but to think about how they're going to springboard from this round into the future. Harsh Eco should be in for the T-side line.
Yeah, and don't forget, in the other semi-finals that we talked about for this upper bracket, Viperio have already locked in their spot. So these 2 teams are fighting for their chance to play up against Viperio, and that, I believe, will be at 5 PM. So plenty of CS action coming forward. But right now, we're going to move into round 12. 4-7 is the scoreline so far. Coalesce trying to come back into things, but it has been T-side supremacy so far. I don't know if the pistols are going to have as much success, but look at that. You hear the stampede coming. You need to give some space. Leaf wisely backing off and giving a little bit of that space. No eMasters, they're so quick behind them. Relentless in their push. Shine gets the initial frag. Both of them, in fact, he's going to triple up. Trying to answer with the USP, not quite there, but this is damage done. Ducks trying to calm the situation. Mr. Hoy, any more damage and nothing left to be done, but Coalesce, even in that round, they were tested.
Mr. Hoy is just doing work right now. Like, he not only is the star player and the top guy in terms of the numbers and the fragging positions, he also looks like it. Like, just the eye test says, just screams star talent right now.
He's that guy.
He is that guy. Certainly he is. And for eMasters, it's beneficial to them. I don't know how you get that Glock in to get those 2 frags in the first place, but hey-ho. Mr. Hoy taking some money away from the Coalesce side, now setting up eMasters for the buy. But this is the round where they change their fortunes here. This is the round where Coalesce will start to bow down to the T's. Slow walks in from Emery, trying to make his way out towards the long control, where Leaf and Shine are holding back on the site to receive them.
Slower default here from eMasters. You can see their progression and up long, and they just want to make sure that they're not giving away their hand, make sure that they're not overcommitting in these situations. Flash to clear the toilets, standard protocol. But how can you approach things moving forward? How do you want to progress around the map? No real B control, so it is looking like it's going to be this A committal. Shine and Leaf, they have been taken advantage of in a couple of these situations, but I don't know if we quite had this kind of standard execute down on towards the A site that we're expecting. That smoke might slow things down though. Plenty of time left, and Shine surely spots out a player there. Coalesce starting to wake up to the situation in front of them.
40 seconds left. Run in from one player crossing past the divider. Grenades being sent back. The Molotovs will burn away at the truck. Shine not sure whether he wants to stay in the fire or the spokes. Leaf start to make his way forward. Flashes again. Going to keep the CT suppressed. eMasters are on the bomb site. The bomb will go down. Backstab is being watched. The rotation is being selected. That control. But ultimately, it's a standoff. All 5 players at Coalesce will meet them from the back lines.
Absolutely a rough retake, sorry, I should say. 5 alive as Coalesce start to creep their way forward. Emmy got guys by that smoke, but what a dunk down onto Dexter, and it's all going to spur it forward. Moshi, the only resistance, and now Husky 1 versus 4 gets 1, but there's so many more players left to find and so little HP to work with. Shine going to walk around the corner, and this should be it. There you go. 6 rounds for Coalesce as they keep 3 players alive, and that's a really well-structured retake.
1 to make up. Coalesce doing the work here against the eMasters, putting in those hard yards.
You ever wear much makeup for your bigger performances on cast?
I do actually, yeah.
Yeah.
They make us wear it.
Oh really?
Yeah. Television thing.
Oh, fair.
I despise it. I don't like it. But occupational hazard, so. Quick in, Tech9's rushing down Mr. Hoy, forceful AK hero weapon in play. Leaves getting caught off guard for it, trying to stand by against him. Needs trying to come up with the AWP, but he's going to get overwhelmed. Dr. One needs to pick back to return for the CT side. A 4-on-3. Shine makes it 2. USP pulled out. Emmy takes the frag back. The bomb needs to get picked up and planted, and it should be secured here. So this half buy will enable the full invest for eMasters in the next round. Emmy will get caught. Dexter now with everything to do in a 1-on-3. See what you can find in this kind of a round. AK has been recovered. Player in from long, not being detected by the T-side member. So it will be a 7th on the board of Coalesce. Even standing against the eMasters. Who's going to take the half advantage now?
Yeah, that's a really big question to answer moving forward. eMasters, though, that's a really interesting read from them. You know, they've had consistent success getting to that A site, rushing and really putting the pressure on Shine and Leaf. And I think they've got something to exploit here. Maybe they're, you know, try and feign a little bit of that kind of an action, force Leaf and Shine back, get some of that panic set in for Coalesce and take advantage from that point forward, Splashy. But in any case, it is up to the eMasters to dictate the pace of this one moving forward. Leaf trying to peek over to Hoy. That's an interesting push. Azuru taking liberties, and Mr. Hoy, the danger man for eMasters, immediately eliminated.
Azuru's not been allowed to get us going here in this map up for Coalesce, but Mr. Hoy's been stopped in his tracks, and partially down to Azuru's engagements there towards that short position, among others. Coalesce, man advantage, eMasters tagged up on Husky as well. Slow spread out, trying to see if Emmy can insert himself in that connected control. Has got free reign of it, so has got can buy the option to go back towards the mid position. But really, eMasters need a frag here.
Couple of frags is what they need. 5 Coalesce players standing between them and around advantage moving forward, and it seems like eMasters are going to be the ones to be cut down. Kristen getting another engagement over towards B. Now, eMasters 3 versus 5. A fair bit of utility to work with. How do you approach this one? Peeking over the smoke. Shine not going to quite get the position, but Leaf will give his life away. And there you go, the A site exploit coming through again.
Shine's low HP. AWP needs to stand up on this one. Bang, getting chased down. Not caught off by Emmy, but the shot does not return for Shine in time. So the kill does come through from the man of eMasters. The bomb should get planted here. It's out towards one for the time being. Utility sent, the retake should be on, but Emmy gets 2 more extended down back. Azulu and Kristen are going to get caught, and Dox is now all alone to try to challenge the man and his backup. Emmy says otherwise. 4 kills for him. eMasters absolutely wrecked Coalesce for one last time to send off the T side 8-7 up.
Yeah, absolutely great play from the eMasters there. It was down 3 versus 5, and they just stormed that A site. Really well played in the end to secure that 8th round. But now it's all still to play for. Literally a hair splits these two teams. Who's going to run away with things? Who's going to secure that upper bracket final spot up against Viperio?
Last half of the semis, Coalesce, eMasters. Glocks pulled in, USPs pulled out. P250 on one of Doc's as they set themselves up into these defaults, and Mr. Hoy draws out first blood, doming down Dox. And the advantage sits with eMasters here.
Absolutely. Mr. Hoy playing whack-a-mole, saying ahoy to Dox's skull as he puts it in the grave. But this is aggressive again from eMasters after that initial pick. Just taking a bit of a liberty with this kind of a situation. Coalesce have a fair bit of utility as well to work with, so a little bit of a question mark raised there to how they want to end things out, but they need to get this initial map control, and you can see this setup by Husky and Mashi can be disastrous. It can be the undoing, and there's the initial pick. Well, spot, I should say, not even a pick coming through. Mashi will convert that one, a push from Monster, and this is not looking so good for Coalesce. Azuru needs to stand tall. He needs to be the star player that Coalesce need. Trying to take some space. Initially gets that pick. Nice from him. Oh, there we go. Waken up, and that's woken up Coalesce for this post plant.
Well, you asked him to be the star player. Certainly those are 2 star frags. 3 versus 3 now. Kristen's involved. Advantage tips the way of Coalesce. Emmy caught off. Mr. Hoy out towards Ram. Needs to get his picks in, but it's not going to happen against Shine, who puts a bullet to the brain and brings home the pistol for the T side.
Shine bright like a diamond, and Shine is indeed going to put on a good performance to close that one out. He's been so good throughout this entire series, just as Dexter. Both these AWPers popping off no warps just quite yet as we get initiated into the Force by Wars. And, you know, previously I've hated it, but this matchup is so close. I'm loving what I'm seeing with the CS on the server.
Flashes are sent. Emmy Scout trying to watch out. Defaults again from Coalesce against the Force by the eMasters, trying to prod them out towards the mid control here, but the majority of forces are stacked up towards Monster. As is the same for eMasters here. There's 3 players on the B side total, 2 which have the crossfire locked. Molotovs are sent. Moshi, risky plays, nades towards his position, and they're going to back away for it. Moshi will take some damage, and no info goes the way of the CT side.
Yeah, I don't know how Coalesce are so aware of that kind of a play coming through. Perhaps there's some sort of a read, a nade combination that they're like, okay, guys, be expectant of this, throw those double nades down, reposition, and, well, it's going to be looking to work out so well, so good so far. And I can't think of any more so's for that sentence.
Here we go to the A execution. Scout Emmy trying to find a decent headshot. The flash is keeping him blinded, makes him a little chance to actually land anything right here and now. Does get going on Dex's part. Kristen actually with the kill back. Doc's in a little bit of a pickle in the midst of the smoke, but Leaf and Shine have been bailed out. So bomb will get planted 4 on 2. 5-7 Mr. Hoy does somehow come up with a decent pick, and I'm surprised he got away with even that. And again, it's going to show what kind of a man he really is. Moshi now 1 versus 3, and surely should not be able to pull this off.
Moshi trying to shout Moshi Moshi at the rest of his teammates, get them going. But it's a 1 versus 3 that he's stuck in right now. Slow replay, no kit, and is immediately eliminated by Dux, who has been playing well for this series. I can't really think of a player who's kind of been lackluster. You know, of course there was that underperformance by Azuru in the initial matchup, but this resurgence has really kind of put to bed those kind of qualms that we had for him at the start of the game.
All starting to come together now for Coalesce. 9-8 advantage for them. eMasters not able to springboard their initial advantage into a decent start of the CT side, a decent breakdown. In the previous one, the USP is brought out and Emmy's already going down. Stack interconnect, hoping they can catch off Leaf, and that'd be probably the best thing they can hope for at this particular stage. Here's those footsteps. Dexter around the corner, dealt with. Moshi does get that 1 frag to return. Inbound to try to take the AK out of the CT side hands. A couple of tagged up plays. In fact, all 4 tagged up here for Coalesce, but they'll 5-power advantage. 2 scores to handle here for the CT side, so not even that AK will stay in play. Kristen grabs it back. There'll be 10 to the board of Coalesce. eMasters back on the guns. Their first true round to resist Coalesce's lead.
T-side hype continuing, but this is the gun round that we're waiting for. eMasters finally get some big guns in their hands, and I'm sure they're used to dealing with some big machinery, right? Just gonna let me untangle that one.
Well, Moshi's untangled the offensive line. Coalesce have been ripped apart out towards monster control. He's dipping in for a 3rd kill. Azuwu's caught. Leaf finally trades it, but that one man has basically decimated the whole attacking force. Leaf and Shine, 2 versus 4 for them. Bomb being dropped in the midst of monster as well. With Emmy's backstab bracketing in the pincers. At this point, there's nothing available to the Coalesce side.
Well, it seems as though eMasters do like a bit of crab pincering action going on right here. As the boost comes through, Shine will continue to shine, and that's a good opener.
Imagine they pull this back from here.
Yeah, I mean, they've done similar.
If they get the pick on Emmy, it becomes rather doable, actually. Is Shine watching it? I don't think he is. No, he is. He's definitely looking at it. He's so wary of the monster presence, though. And Leaf gets the pick. Okay, this round is on.
There is a bit of utilities. They could retrieve the bomb here. Flash tries to take the initiative for eMasters, but that does pass along a lot of information as well.
Gonna work their way in here, Leaf. Smoke up, grab the bomb. They're going to rotate back with it. Blind spray. He's somehow alive.
How?
They've crept. Oh, they're going for the full-on rotate as well. Back in from Con. A-site's got nothing to defend itself. I don't know if they hear the footsteps. Yes, Dexter's on the way.
He should be there to meet them on the A site. Good play from Coalesce to even recover this situation. Flash is good, but Dexter not quite there to meet just yet. Look at that push though. Oh, decimation. And he cuts down both players that he needs to, catches the right timing, and there you go, eMasters back on the board.
Oh, thank you, lucky stars, lads. That was a little bit dicey. Coalesce coming up to recover as much in that round as possible, and they damn near took it. Dexter's adjustment to the player at Truck. That not come through. That would have been round for Coalesce at that point. Surely it would have been. As it stands, though, eMasters get their night to try and battle back against the Coalesce side one more time. Advantage sits with the T's. The AK in for Dexter. Watching and waiting. It's Coalesce. We've closed to 2 position here at the park entrance. Burst firing as 2 players are going to line up for Dexter, but he only gets 1 frag.
Yeah, Dexter. You can imagine him with his glasses in Dexter's laboratory, trying to cook up something special, but not quite converting in the fashion that he wanted there. Emi, he goes for any sort of play. He has supreme confidence in his own abilities, and you love to see it, but it can look quite silly in certain situations. Wisely repositions, and that smoke will halt Coalesce's looking towards this A site. And this is going to be really, really contingent on these short and long fights over towards A.
Falling back, Doc's leaning in. Mr. Hoy caught with util in hand. That's massive. That's so big for the eMasters now. Execution forced out from only half of the T-side forces. Leaf can bring it back to a 3-on-3 though, and they're still looking to press. Mr. Hoy still looking to hold his nerve, gets his 2K. Azulu goes down, and Leaf and Shine now the 2 players that remain in this scenario challenging Mr. Hoy. They actually win that fight. Leaf low HP though. Husky and Mushy now set up for this scenario, ahead of the smoke stuff as well. It will clear, both will be seen, but Shine wins the fight. Mushy turns it back against them both and brings home the even standing eMasters 10 apiece.
Yeah, that info passed along, and Mushy just executed it really well in the end there, but Coalesce, I don't know how they kind of let that situation fall into that kind of favour, you know, unlucky with the timings there on long, pulling the smoke out, but look at this situation now. eMasters, even the scoreboard at the top, they don't have the best economy to work with, but with just the pistols in play, Coalesce don't really have too much of a hope in this one.
Pistols set in, Azul and Crimson in particular. Husky for Mars out in the water control. Eye set as the util is thrown over, and the T's will make their way in. Moshi backing up, M4, AK rather I should say, tapping forward SMG and Mr. Hoy. Just never going to stop them from getting onto the site here. Deny that bomb plant if possible, get some money together. Boost up into heaven could get a little bit dicey for the CT side. I think Dexter's actually pushed it back, but damage continuing to compound. Eventually the kills should get rolling here for the eMasters. Coalesce is doing very well to hold on to their positions, but ultimately Mr. Hoy comes in with the money farm. Triple found of the SMG. The rest of the CTs can come in with a bit more support. Leaf does somehow catch off Dexter, but there's Emi with the other MP9, the first and the second picks.
Absolutely, Mr. Hoy and Emi with those green fingers farming up that dough as they get the kills with the MP9s. Imagine if you got money for killing people. What a world that would be.
Someone actually presented a tournament concept a number of years ago in that the prize pool, you introduce a massive prize pool.
Right.
And you deduct from the prize pool depending on how much the players spend in game.
Oh, okay. All right, I'm liking the sound of that.
So like you'll start with like, you know, like a $10 million and eventually it'll just be whittled down to 900k because of the fact that everyone's buying AWPs and auto snipers and stuff.
That is really interesting. I wonder if it would affect any of the... I think you just see like 5-stack MP9s across the board for CT sides.
Could possibly do, yeah. Mac 10s on the T side as well, only $1,000 a piece. That's an imaginary world that no one's ever going to try and put together, and I hope no one actually tries it. And trying it on against Azuru, whose 3K has come in against the T side, but Emi's nade there to finish off the job that his teammates have started. 2-on-2 situation. But now where are Coalesce going? A lot of this action out towards short is drawn attention away from the true efforts of the bomb carrier of Shine, who gets Dexter. That's one headshot. Needs Emi as well. And the burst to the head. Immediate, effective, and efficient. 11 apiece. Coalesce now even against the eMasters, and they might overtake them. Look at the money of the CT side.
Absolutely. Azulu opening things up towards B, and then that sets up Shine.
I'm warning you now, don't you ever do that again.
No, no.
Don't you ever do that again.
But yeah, really good play in the end from the individuals who come. I'm sorry, I've broken myself.
Tactical pause taken by the eMasters here.
I've been waiting all weekend to say that at some point. Oh, man. what can you even say if you're eMasters coach in this kind of situation? What can you do to spur the spirits of your players?
I mean, at this point, you have to just sort of like find a way to reinstall their confidence and rejig the style of play that we saw got them so far over on Engine. It's CT side of Overpass. This should be where you get the favoritism in the half advantage. So you've got to build back into those guns here. There's a decent amount of savings on several players. So despite Mr. Hoy being on double eco status, they're going to go in with a stack out and try and hope that these USPs can do something. But look towards the gun buy in the next round where they can really put the effect up against the seaside line. Husky going to lose his teammates, somehow get away with a couple of decent picks, not quite the triple. So they're doing it all right with whatever they had, what little they had. And now all on Emi, left alone to try and do something here with the USP.
Yeah, name of the game, just try and get a little bit of damage, maybe even steal a rifle away. But there's not really a hope in hell of getting away with anything. Leaf tapping away at the little feeties of Emi, and that's going to send him scurrying in the complete other direction. Tapping away, USP, great accuracy, not quite good on the damage and won't be good enough to secure a kill in this kind of a situation. Coalesce will secure a 12. Ooh, okay, a bit of a question mark on that one, my friend, but in any case, it is going to be that locking in of the round win and straight buy from eMasters, but they're not going to have the bells and whistles that they want.
One SMG limited on Mr. Hoy. Rather see the M4 passed off towards him at this particular stage. He's been monitoring some of these entries. I know he's slowed down a little bit, but again, you want to try and unlock him and his confidence to return back to give eMasters the advantage they were taking. Dexter instead posted with his M4 out towards the mid-control, seeing nothing ahead of that flashbang. And again, monster stack from Coalesce.
Yeah, fairly docile approach from Coalesce as they set up for this monster play, and they went for it earlier, but there was some sort of a cue that warded them off it when we saw those double monster nades. This time they decide to commit behind it, and they're just going to walk out. Moshi trying to jump spot for it. Here's the flashbang, and boom, that's the go button. Try and take some space, try and get some kills on the site. Look at the stack, though. Just so many crossfires in action. Zuru, oh, helping to cut it down. Doc's in tow, but Mr. Hoy. What is that?
How has he done that with an MP9? I just said I want to see what an M4. Imagine if he had the M4, he might have won the round outright with the ace. Ridiculous stuff again from the man. Emi's on the rotate back. Mr. Hoy's going to go in for a rifle, but low HP for the man. Emi's got to do the rest of the heavy lifting. Smoke's inbound. Head of it, he'll move and time it well against Leaf. The other side shines in trouble. He has no idea. Leaf is caught. Spray back 28 HP. And now 20 HP for Mr. Hoy to come in from the mid control. Could deny this bomb plant. It's perfect. No. It's open for Leaf. And the taps and burst come back for Mr. Hoy. And a quadra for him. What a defense. What a hold. 12 apiece for the eMasters, who continue to hang in there.
MP9s on watch, and Mr. Hoy, he's looked better with an MP9 in his hands than an M4. In this case, they've got 3 of them for this round. Not an ideal spot, but you know what? They can make it work in any sort of situation, evening the playing field, evening the score at the top, and that's just making this match even spicier.
Buyback for Coalesce, knowing that they've done so much damage to the CT economy state. There's 3 SMGs despite the 12th coming in for eMasters here. The Orpa Dexter, the most standout weapon, not even an M4 to play with here. eMasters might have found an all-important clutch, but they need something a little bit more tangible, a little bit more solid. The economy for both sides completely wrecked. This is a big swing round for either side.
Absolutely. A lot of determinations to be made following this round. Very pivotal, and eMasters looking to take the initiative, taking some short control. Leaf will be wary of it, and he can pass that information along. It looks as though Coalesce actually want to contest this. Interesting approach. Dexter with this orb. Oh, I don't know if Coalesce are so aware how fortunate they are in this position. Just hiding around the corner. There you go. Dexter makes his presence known. Kristen taken out.
He knows that Dox is out there. Mr. Hoy being walked against. I mean, they're walking their way ahead of Divider. They're walking out. Shine checks it, though. The shot connects the bomb. Will get planted. Dexter needs this backup to get here to go for the retake, and they don't have a choice. They have to send it in. The SMG of Emi next to task against Leaf around this corner here in the top composition. And they are holding passive here. Even Leaf backs off.
I don't know if eMasters want to go for this. Time's ticked down so far. There's only one kit in the hands of Dexter, and, well, that's the big green. That's the gun that you want to hold down these sightlines. They're looking in, but there's the back prompt it. I don't know if this is the right decision. It's all falling apart. Just Husky left alive, and, well, that's Coalesce securing a 13th round. Perhaps, you know, they really should have saved in that situation, in my opinion.
Honestly, yeah, double eco status for eMasters now. And with the scoreline getting where it is, 13-12. Tactical taken once again, because eMasters may have already just lost this game. Their best bet, and even though this is unlikely to come together, their best bet is to do something magical in this kind of a round. Shut down Coalesce, keep the economy limited, deny a bomb plant. But you just have to look at the equipment, what they're working with, and say how likely is that going to come through for the eMasters. That is the hurdle, the ultimate problem that they have to see. Advantage Coalesce to take this round, go to 14, eco off the back of that, map and match point, semi-final point for Coalesce. eMasters may be in trouble.
Maybe indeed. If Mr. Hoy had an MP9 in his hands, I'd be on the eMasters train, you know. I'd be believing out here. I'd wave the flag of eMasters, rip my Coalesce shirt into shreds, but no, not the case. 13-12 is a standing point from which we move forward.
Those things are expensive. Please don't do that.
Well, I didn't pay for it, so. I mean, they're handing them out like candy over there, no?
Might go pick one up later.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're here at LAN, make sure you're picking up all the cool swag on offer. Mr. Hoy's getting some swag. Don't pull your nade out, my friend. Need bullets to secure that safe situation. We'll finally get the smoke off, and I think he's going to try and go for that gun, but no opportunity. eMasters, they have gone for this A-site stack, and Coalesce, not quite wary of it just yet. Kristen, he doesn't quite spout the player, but doesn't really get punished for it either.
It's a good start for eMasters here, and Mr. Hoy's trying to get that rifle back in the hands of the CT forces. He's grabbed it. Ooh, this is lovely.
Go.
I think he may have made a footstep, though. I think they might have heard it. That Galil standing by, though. Imagine he pulls something out of the hat here.
It would be a Mr. Hoy kind of play, wouldn't it? Emmy, in the other terms, taken down over towards A, and the A-site stack has been completely dismantled.
Oh, Docs. He's walked past it. Oh, this is perfect. He's checked it now. Mr. Hoy brings home a double. AK now to work with, and the CT's en route now to the A-site. They hear those footsteps. The pistols. Oh, they're going to pull off something magical. This would be absolutely incredible for the eMasters. The P250 of Husky turned on by Kristen Moshi. On site, dealt with by Kristen Anazuwu. And Mr. Hoy is left to ace clutch this kind of a round. He did such amazing work in the connector control. But even this, surely it has to hold on to the AK.
Yeah, the odds really not in his favour. No hope to get away with anything more in this instance. And man, Mr. Hoy, 28 and 19. Can we just talk about what a performance he's put on in this matchup?
Utterly incredible.
I mean, it's not even just this map as well. In the previous two maps, he's never really kind of missed a step. He's always been consistently there for his team. eMasters, so fortunate to have this player, but right now, not looking too good themselves across the board. Coalesce, they are running away with things.
He's not missed a step. He's Mr. Hoy.
I like that one. That was nice.
AK giving a little bit of bolster firepower in the hands of Mr. Hoy right now. You want to set him up to do absolute incredible things right now. It's going to be a harsh eco for eMasters past that 5-7 that he had over to Dexter. Bit of extra firepower spread across the CT side, and now give up the map point. Probably the match point here as well. Mr. Hoy engaging aggression. Of course, Azuru's going to spray him down for a little bit of damage. There's no flash support out towards that monster position. Emmy's going to wait back at long where that bomb is on its way. But the aggression continues up from Mr. Hoy, who's going to get taken down by Azuru. So that's the rifle lost. Emmy now hearing footsteps. Caught off by Kristen. 5-on-3. eMasters steamrolling their way forward onto the site, onto their 15th round at this point. Dexter down next. Husky and Moshi with it all to do.
Absolutely. Just USBs in hand, and well, Zuru, he really has woken up in this matchup. Husky been so good for this entire series. How is he getting away with that one? But again, not really going to be able to convert that into anything else. Unless Leaf wants to throw his life away. Nothing left in the magazine, and Husky will be put to bed. No wolf howl in this occasion. Coalesce securing 15. They're about to book their place against Viperio, and there's a little bit of history between Coalesce and Viperio. I think there's a conversation to be had there between those two teams.
eMasters have 3 rounds to stop them from doing just that. There seems to have been a problem, I think, maybe?
I think the only problem is eMasters defense.
Well, certainly it has conceded to the point now where Coalesce are 1 round away from victory, potentially 90 seconds from going to the upper bracket finals. Again, the main, as you mentioned, taking on Viperio. If they manage to pull it off for now, it's default setting for the T side. eMasters not aggressing here.
Yeah, just trying to take stock of the situation. They don't have the utility to go for any aggressive map controls. You might see some early aggression, some cheeky picks, some boosts. Mr. Hoy so close to spamming down Azuru and Leaf. Let's get some damage, but how is that's just like Neo Matrix curving the bullets around.
That's so unfortunate for Mr. Hoy, because that could have been the start of things. AWP is baited for Husky, smoke back into the monster control. Blocking him off. Moshi, similar story. Azuru boosting up Leaf, who's going to wait for a moment to strike. And then there'll be some sort of short presence. They're thinking they might push back here on the CT side. He won't see anything towards Toxic anyway. Husky's too far back. Moshi might give up an angle. Coalesce taking their sweet time with this.
They do have time to work with, but there you go. There's the hit coming through. Kristen gets a really nice entry. Not quite gets the second. Husky can answer back, and Ducks will return the favour. The rotation's coming in, but Mr. Hoy on an island has it all to do. Gets one, just trying to stay alive. Buy time for that rotation. There it is. Dexter helping out. Azuru can return that one. And now this is a really awkward 2 versus 2. Azuru smoked off. Can Coalesce secure this? Time ticking down, and Azuru might just lock it in. Shine will be the closing kill. 16-12. Coalesce do book that ticket moving forward.
I think just looking at that scoreboard there, seeing how well Mr. Hoy did compared to the rest of his team, and seeing it didn't quite come together for him and for the eMasters is probably the more tragic of the stories. And ultimately, yes, for Coalesce, it's a victory, and indeed an expected one to a greater or lesser extent, depending on how you look at the series itself. Obviously, it was a bit of a coin toss matchup, and over towards Overpass, it really did have everything overall. You know, it had the solid start, of course, for the eMasters, but Coalesce brought that comeback in the end, and they'll be going to the upper bracket finals as a result here, Jammer.
Yeah, absolutely. Great series from both these teams. I don't think eMasters can be too disappointed with that. Of course, they don't come away with the victory, but they really did test Coalesce, who hadn't been, up until this point, really kind of tested too much. But yeah, congratulations to Coalesce moving forward. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say. I'm just flabbergasted by this CS. Yeah,
it's been a great matchup, and certainly one that will prove Coalesce a formidable opponent for Viperio in the next round. The upper bracket finals coming your way in 45 minutes time as we head towards a break, and bringing that matchup after this here as we roll on with EPIC38.